How often are we talking to someone that is navigating our environment and helping us understand how to manage the best way? Is it coming from our parents? Is it coming from our bosses? Is it coming from the coaches or the entrepreneurs that we're surrounding ourselves with? Are we getting it from social media? Welcome everybody to another session of Strategies for Creatives. And today on this podcast, we are talking about time management. How does that affect you? How are you doing? Are you even managing time well? Let's brainstorm. All right, so this concept came about because I asked about 50 people, what could I help them with to make their lives better? And unanimously, time management was the number one thing, no matter who they were. And this was all people from different walks of life, demographics, all different areas within the United States, as well as overseas. So when it comes to time management, it seems like it's a bigger deal than what we would like to address. And most of the time, it's kind of overlooked. Now, granted, me personally, just in the last 30 days, my time management has been completely thrown out of whack because me and my wife has adopted. So if you've seen anything on my social media or LinkedIn, I did make an announcement that me and my wife did adopt our little cousin. She's doing very well. And with a new person in your life, especially a baby, everything that you thought you had time management with has now become a new concept, and your whole calendar has been thrown out the window, and now you have to create something new. Time management for me has been very unique, to say the least, for these last couple of days. Now, granted, I've been on maternity leave from my job, so it's freed up a lot of things for me, and I've been able to kind of navigate the space a little bit better. But one thing I've noticed for sure is my sleep patterns have changed. The way that I've been able to interact with my family has changed because I want to give them more time and energy and effort that I can put towards them, as well as I have 2 dogs. Trying to navigate family, dogs, new addition, and then also still keep our relationship with family and friends open as well. You don't want to just cut off everyone and just try to just solely just like dive in and be like everything's about the child. We just didn't want that lifestyle. My previous state when it comes to time management was kind of lackluster, to say the least. And this was maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, where I was trying to figure out how to navigate job and side projects or contract work or freelance work. That could be difficult because you're now navigating so many different areas. You're talking to several different people. Your calendar has to be very tight. And then you also have to make time for what is priority, which was the job, right? Because they're the ones that's paying you for your time, for your effort, for your energy. The contractor, same thing. However, they have to work around your schedule, or you have to make that maneuver for them so you can see it. My difficulty was still trying to have time to do other things. Now, that could be going to church, that could be family time, that could be friends time, that could be hanging out. And at the time I was dating my wife. So now trying to make time to court her the correct way while trying to manage all those things. So it was a lackluster experience where some things suffered and I could not do as much contract work as I desired because I just did not have the bandwidth. But in all actuality, I didn't have the proper time management. And when I say time management, this affects everybody. So this could be someone that's managing time at their job. This could be managing school time as a child, or someone that's in college. This could be managing and how you're navigating family time and friends time. So whatever your social life is, that's also time management. You can't spend all your day doing things social when you have priorities and responsibilities. So now you have to figure out what is the proper arena and the proper time that I need to give something. This is where it gets into the weeds. Be present. Now, granted, how you're present can be different for different people. But if you're trying to be present to get the maximum amount of, experience and feeling and emotion from that feeling and that environment, you want to be present. You don't want to be thinking about your job while you're playing with your kids. So you want to kind of figure out, like, what does that really look like? And this all stems from, when did we start understanding how to manage? Most of the times we can think about it when you started getting responsibilities as a child, when your parents started putting you in certain scenarios, or maybe it was with school, or maybe it was when you started doing sports. So there's so many different things when you're trying to figure out, like, when did this even come about? Now you can go even further back when we start thinking about time management, and before the beginning of time, there was no time. When you start thinking about how God invoked and put us in time, now you have something to navigate with and in. So prior to Adam and everything that he did, there was no need for anyone to even think about time because everything was infinite. Now, time started slowing down after he decided to eat from a tree that was forbidden. And then time started speeding up on us. So we no longer had the ability to take time as we would, but now we had to be very focused on the time that we were allotted, because after that point, man started to slowly die and he no longer lived as long as he used to. Methuselah, one of the oldest men in the Bible, almost 1,000 years. Now we barely make 100. So when you think about that and you put that in the concept of time management, Adam's time management wasn't so good at the time, right? Now we look at our time management, we might be like, oh, we're better, but in all actuality, how well are we managing the time that we have? Are we touching things that are forbidden? Are we paying attention to things that are important? Where is our values when it comes to time? And how are we leveraging time to do the things that are necessary? So when did we start learning about how to manage as well? So we think about time, but then we also got to think about management. And those things actually club together more than we think. Because when you're managing something, that means you're overseeing, you're oversight, you're the person in charge of a task, not so much of a person, but a task or an environment or a system. This is also a good example when it comes to Adam. He was over the environment of the world because he had dominion. So his management skills started right then, but he also had someone to go to support his management. So this is where he was getting taught how to manage from God. It says that Adam walked with God in the cool of the day. So that means they probably talked about some things when it comes to his management skills or the capabilities that he had. This is the same thing that should happen to us. How often are we talking to someone that is navigating our environment and helping us understand how to manage the best way? Is it coming from our parents? Is it coming from our bosses? Is it coming from the coaches or the entrepreneurs that we're surrounding ourselves with? Are we getting it from social media? This is all things that we want to think about, because whoever's teaching you how to manage is how you're going to manage most of the things in your life. So if they're teaching you how you could, navigate multiple things at one time, that might be their management style, but does that work for you? And can you do that? Is that something capable in your wheelhouse to manage multiple things? Or do you have to work up to that? And you start by managing one thing, doing that really well, and then you take that information and you apply it to the other areas in your life so you can manage all of the areas in your life effectively. So here's a couple things that I noticed when it comes to causes of why you're not managing well. The first one is a lack of clear direction. That is a big one. I had that issue. I know multiple people have that issue because you have no reason of why. You don't know what lane you're really in, and you don't know why you're going down that lane. The next one is procrastination. I think that's a heavy word for most people. It sounds like I'm cussing at a lot of people, but guess what? We've all procrastinated, and we've all done something at the end of the time that we should have done it in and could have got it out of the way earlier. Then we look at the attention problems. Social media is a big issue with this, right? How are you leveraging social media? Are you on it just scrolling and scrolling? Are you looking for information? Are you gathering data in order to do something with it and you can cut it off? Or that dopamine hit has you so attached to the social media that you can't turn it off, and now it's become a distraction rather than a support system or a mechanism that can help and assist you. The next thing is self-control issues. This is all about discipline. How well are you disciplining yourself in order to navigate for time management to be effective in the rest of parts of life? And then you look at low motivation. Are you even motivated to do what's necessary? Are you motivated to go to work? Are you motivated to do that project? Are you motivated to continue to navigate even when your family's life? Are you motivated to just get up in the morning? And the last one they have is not enough rest. This is something that I've learned just yesterday with my daughter waking me up early in the morning. I tried to work late and she woke me up early. I got very little rest, and then that caused me to be very lethargic in the rest of the day. So I wasn't as effective when it comes to time management, and I was very slow to kind of get into my momentum and my day-to-day operations of what I wanted to get taken care of. So what's my conclusion to all of this? When it looks at those 5 things that I just talked about when it comes to lack of clear direction, procrastination, attention problems, self-control, low motivation, and not enough rest, it stems down to 2 things that I see: value and prioritization. What are you valuing and what are you prioritizing? And this will help you figure out what lane you should really be in. If you have a strong value to do something, that means that's top tier when it comes to time management. That should be on the top of the list. That should be something that you really want to get taken care of. And if it's family time, that means it's top tier. You do not navigate away from what you consider valuable. You keep that thing on the calendar and you do not move it off of it. And that also prioritizes what's important. Priorities also help you say no. This is a big thing when it comes to time management. You can't take on everything. You can't bring everything into your time. That means you have to navigate and say no to specific things. And it's actually going to help you even more to manage your time. And you'll realize I have way more time than what I thought. Are you sleeping too much? Are you getting up too late? Are you staying up too late and you don't get up enough in time to do the things that's necessary early on in the morning? Or are you lackadaisical in the evenings? Are you kind of playing around? Are you on social media more than you should be? These are all things you want to take in consideration when time management is a key motivator in order for you to do things. This is all about doing. This is not about perfection. This is about getting things done that's necessary when you need to do them and how you need to do them. So some solutions for you: figure out your why. If you don't know why you're doing it, you don't know why you're setting time aside. And that is the biggest waster of time because you have no clue what you're doing it for. So figure out your why, and that will give you enough momentum to even start. That is your starter, that is your passion, that is your reason to get up and do what's necessary. The second thing, are you doing everything necessary to reach the why? That means there's discipline involved. That means you have to have a clear list and clear understanding. That goes back to point number 1 that was in that list before. What are you doing it for and where is it? And is it clear? If it's not clear, it's totally fine. But pause. Make it clear. Make it make sense so you're not wasting time navigating in areas that are not even necessary to what you're trying to do and what's related to the why. And the last one we don't like to hear is discipline. How are you disciplined in what you're doing? Passion will get you started, but discipline will keep you going. That is the momentum that you need in order to finish the race in time. So if you're not disciplined, you will be distracted. You will have lackluster performances. You will not be focused as you need to be because your momentum will slow down because you have zero discipline. So figure out what you need to do in order to stay disciplined. I hope this helps somebody. Like, subscribe, and let me know if you guys are struggling with any of these areas with time management. I would love to help you and figure it out. And we can brainstorm and figure out what is really going to help you maximize your time management so you can make your next steps your best steps. Oh, and one more thing. If you've been enjoying the drip, you can probably see some of this that I got on. I got way more stuff on my website, www.desktopcreatives.com. Check it out if you want to support. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But I got some stuff if you want to wear it just to keep you motivated, especially about becoming what matters. And that all has to do with your why.